Hi Sudish, good evening. Yes, I can hear you.
Good
Can you hear
evening,
me?
Nishant. I can hear you very well. Hey guys, just so you know, Nishant is our principal consultant for ServiceNow. He's got over a decade of experience, and Nishant, I have Gob here, and he's our new candidate. He's exploring this career. He has a question about ServiceNow and AI. Would you like to
Okay,
clarify that question? It could be better to hear from you.
definitely, definitely. Hi Go, hi everyone. Yes, can I have your question, please?
Yeah, so just like I know like I'm a QA analyst, manual.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
my past previous BA, she was also a developer before, so very tech savvy. So she was just telling me how she's using AI and ChatGPT or Copilot and like
Mm-hmm.
in-house LLMs to subscribe like her meetings, and then she converts all that using one of those GPTs to come up with like her user stories, scenarios, and everything else. I was wondering if like in for service now or in this like course will we be learning anything like that? Or service now is doesn't
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here, see, we need to understand our role. So our role is business analyst, as in business process consultant. And now, when you're talking about these use cases, right, that you can use ChatGPT, Copilot, and all
Mhm.
to use to fine tune your, or maybe to create your user stories and other scenarios, you definitely can leverage on these tools to work out or to have your task completed. But in ServiceNow also, we have certain tools like there is Now Assist and there are LLMs as well, right? Wherein you can, for example, if I give you one example, that in ServiceNow we have one application called Incident, wherein you can go and raise incident. Okay,
Okay.
now that incident is raised, it will be assigned to an engineer. Okay, engineer worked on it for like 1 day or 2 day, and after that it is assigned to another engineer. Maybe he was not able to do it, or maybe it was not correctly assigned to the team. Suppose it was initially assigned to database team, but actually it was the work of a Windows team. So after 2 days, it is assigned to Windows team. Now, as an engineer, when it is assigned to me, there are two ways I can work on it. First way is that I'll start reading all the information on the incident, like what is the incident, who worked on it, what he has done so far. Second
Mhm.
way is we have an option of Now Assist. Again, the way you're saying that I can use ChatGPT and all, in ServiceNow we have Now Assist. Now Assist have two, three options. One is, as you see in ChatGPT, we have an option of summarization. So
Mhm.
in ServiceNow also we have an option of summarize. You click on summarize, and like within seconds, it will give you a quick summary of this incident. So now you
Mhm.
have saved your 15 to 20 minutes
But make
that you
sure
will
you always
spend
double
on.
check, right?
Right, right, right. Definitely. See, one thing is you will get a handy information that this is the information about the incident. Second, you can go through it. At least now you will have an idea.
Correct.
So that way you can leverage these AI, use cases in your work. Similarly, when you are working as PA, for example, another example I can quote from your responsibility that you will be organizing a meeting with the different stakeholders. So there is an option in Teams called transcript when you're
Correct.
recording, right? So it will, at the end of the session, it will give you a file wherein all the statements that everyone has made in the meeting will be captured. Now
Mhm.
use that transcript to put into your Copilot ChatGPT and tell that please create a minutes of meeting for this using this transcript. It will give you like statement by statement who has spoken what statement, what comment, and then what are the action items. Everything it will capture from it. But again, it has, 50% of your work is done. But rest 50% you will have to validate whether those statements are right,
Correct.
someone is not using the correct pronunciation and all, so in that case it might give you a little bit of here and there words. So half of your work is done using these kind of tools. So what is the applicability that you will have to decide? But definitely you can use these tools in ServiceNow also. We have those skills right now since these are new into ServiceNow. So you will see only a few of the clients are using these skills. But going forward in upcoming years, you will see more use cases coming up, and I'll talk about certain use cases wherein you can use Now Assist and these AI skills to work on. But again, as a BA, you will never be using ServiceNow. As an end user, you will not be using ServiceNow. You will make a platform for other people to use it. I hope you're getting my point.
Yes, yes.
Okay, let me know if you have any other query or from anyone.
Nishant, you're the
Hi Nishant, this is Preet.
Yes, Preet.
So I have a question. You just mentioned that you will make that platform so that end user will use it, right? So
Right, right.
to create that platform, so do we,
Mm-hmm.
if the business analyst, does he use any kind of programming language in order to create that platform, like Python and all that?
Okay. So for that, you will have to wait for my classes. Initial, this 2 weeks, we are just focusing on BA's responsibility,
Okay.
what BA will be doing. And then we also need to understand what are the stakeholders in a project, what are their responsibilities, what are the different stakeholders that are that combinedly when you take them that will create a project. Like in project there will be a project manager, there will be a developer, there will be an architect, there is an PA. Right. So we need to understand what are the responsibilities of each stakeholder. Now, as you're saying that we have to use certain programming language, yes, we'll use it. But what is the applicability? There are two ways you can build a platform. One is configuration, where you are not doing coding. Second is customization, where you will do coding. Right. Now, who is doing those part? Configuration can be done by admin. Customization can be done by developer. Now, what customization, what configuration? That part will be brought in by business analyst. That this is my requirement. For a
Oh.
simple example, I want to create a login page. In
Mm-hmm.
login page, I will be putting in my credential, user ID and password. And when I enter these password, then after clicking on submit, I should be able to enter into my account. This is the requirement. Now, how to work on it? Like what is how to develop it? That will be taken care by your developer. The language here is in ServiceNow we use JavaScript.
Uh,
Is
okay.
it clear?
So should we
Sorry,
get familiar?
JavaScript, what did
Oh,
you just
sorry.
mention?
The coding language that is used in ServiceNow is JavaScript, but understand the responsibility. See, if I tell you you remove BA part, just understand there are three-person in a project. One is your project manager, second is developer, and third is tester. Can tester do project management activities? No. Can project manager do development activities? No. Can developer do project manager? I mean, what I want to tell you is each person will be working only on the responsibilities that is given to him or her. As a BA, my responsibility is that I will be a bridge between two ends. One is your client end, another is your technical team. Client end is basically will tell you the problems, that these are my requirements, and on the other side, technical people will be the one who will be actually developing those requirements. Now, as a BA, I need to understand, I will be converting the business requirements into a language which is easily understandable by developer. Now, how do we create those language? How do we, what language is it? It's not technical language. It's a normal English, as in just statements. Like what statement? Now there are certain formats. That format I'm going to tell you first in these 2 weeks, and then I'll also show you in ServiceNow how you are going to enter those information. So do not worry about those part, that how we are going to do it. And second thing is there is nothing technical on the BA role. It is only a process related.
Okay. Okay. Now I got it. So no Java, no Python, right?
No, no, no,
Because
no.
I'm little bit scared from the programming language. That's why I asked.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll tell you one thing
Mm-hmm.
that in my experience of 10 plus years, I have never done any coding. And I don't even know what coding these developers are doing.
Okay.
My responsibility is to tell them that, this is my requirement.
Okay.
The requirement can be anything. First, simple requirement would be that there will be a caller. Caller will come to a portal. In that portal, he will enter the information that this is my issue and this is my issue description. This issue is happening from these days, right? And then it will submit. Now, developer will be creating that platform and everything. I will tell you each of these things that how to build prototyping and all. My responsibility would be to create a workflow, nice workflow. So I'll also teach you how to create a workflow.
Okay.
Workflow isn't nothing technical. It is just a diagram. Like
Okay.
step one is my
Like
first
flowcharts, right?
process.
Okay.
Exactly. Flowchart.
Okay. Okay.
We'll,
Fine.
we'll do those activities. So all the BA related activities we will be doing. Be
Okay.
assured of those responsibilities.
Okay. Thank you, Nishant.
You're welcome. Go. Do you still have some queries or
I think you just answered my question. So even though we're learning to become a ServiceNow BA, but everything that we will be learning can still be used in, say, a different domain or a different industry. Like,
definitely,
okay,
definitely.
yeah, perfect.
Thank you. Sudish, anything from your end, or can
All
we
good,
start?
Nishant. I just want to welcome everybody for the second complimentary session of ServiceNow BA. And you have one more complimentary session on Saturday to come. So Nishant, you can start. Yeah, you're the host now.
Okay, sure. Just give me a minute. Let me share my screen. Okay, let me know if my screen is up.
Yeah.
+1,
Yeah, we can
+2.
see it.
Thank you. Project pieces. Great. So let's do a quick recap what we did in our previous class. In the first class, we understood what is a BA. I'll also show you this thing. So this is your BA, right? What are the responsibilities of BA? And so BA is like a bridge between your client side and your technical team. Right. So BA would be taking the requirements from here and then converting those requirements into a language that technical people can understand. And how do we, these are the responsibilities that he will do. The assessment of as is process, to be process. He will identify the gaps between the current process and future process. And then he would be creating based on the requirements that will be given by customer. He will be creating BRD, FRD, user stories, and process. This is what the responsibilities of BA. These information will be shared with developer, and based on this information, developer would be creating a working software. Tester will come and validate those things. Architect will be there who will be telling like in what direction developer needs to go. And then project manager will be looking at the timelines, the resources, risk, and communication. So this is what a project will be comprising of when you join a company and you will be working in a project. Excuse me for my spellings, but I hope you can understand what I'm trying to convey. Right. So for me, see, I know few of you have joined today. So I will be using Excel to, it is my storyboard. I will be mentioning, like, it's my whiteboard. I will be telling you all the things here, but at the same time, I will be following up my slides. So today in a class, we want to understand what is a, first we understood what is a BA, what are the responsibilities. Now we want to understand where a BA would be, using or applying these responsibilities. What responsibilities he has to perform on. Right? These responsibilities will be performed on a project. So we want to understand what is the project life cycle and SDLC and how a BA fits into this part, right? So we want to see how a project is started and how it is moved or it goes to the closure state. So before we start, first, what is a project lifecycle, right? Even before I tell you the project lifecycle, let's first understand what kind of project you can see in when you will join a company, right? So these projects are ServiceNow specific projects wherein ServiceNow can be implemented. When I say implemented, it means earlier the client must not be having ServiceNow and now client want to implement ServiceNow. So that is where we call it implementation. Second part is ServiceNow is already implemented and now I want to provide support, or I'll call it support project. Support project is nothing but, for example, right now, if I tell you like you must be using some applications in your phone, be it like or let's take another example. We all must have used Amazon website, right? Now you must have placed an order. Now the order is not received or there is some issue. So what you will do, you will raise a query that I have raised, that I have purchased something and I have not received it, or whatever query you have. Then someone will be there who will support it. So here, the first part is Amazon as an application is implemented, right? After implementation, whenever who is using that application, if he or she faces some issues, so it will be handled, right? So that is where support comes into the picture. So in support, or if you want to enhance something, if you want to if you want to fix something, whatever you have implemented here, so these kind of projects are also there. Then there can be another project like migration, as in we are moving from other platform to ServiceNow. One simple example is that there is a tool called Remedy. Anyone heard about Remedy tool from BMC?
No.
Okay. So, anyone heard about ITSM?
I have, yes.
Okay. For those who do not know ITSM, ITSM is IT is simple information technology. SM is your service management. Okay. In ITSM, I have this. You must have heard about incident, right? There is incident, there is change. And do not worry if you do not know about it. So right now we are doing BA fundamentals. After that, we will do ServiceNow admin, right? And then after ServiceNow admin, we'll move on to ITSM. So in case you do not know about ITSM, do not worry. We will do a good deep dive of ITSM. So you will have a very good understanding about ITSM. But before that, I want to tell you, or we will be discussing about the admin part of ServiceNow. And before even ServiceNow admin, we want to understand what are the BA responsibilities, right? So these are different kind of project. Migration is if there is a process, or we'll make it very simple. Let's suppose there is one process. There are HR tools like Workday is there, HRIS is there. So this all the HR related stuff is being handled by Workday and HRIS. Right now, I want to migrate from these tools to ServiceNow. In ServiceNow, also, I have a product called HRSD. So this is a migration. The client is already having that process, and now they're migrating from one tool to another tool. When it is a fresh implementation, it means this is called greenfield. Greenfield is when we are starting from ground zero, and also when the process was not initially set up in a particular organization. So that is your these are the two three types of project that you can see. Mostly you will be working in these projects only, right? Now this is one way of categorizing your project type. Now I'll mark it here with this color so you will know this is type. Now second is based on duration, as in what is the duration of the project. Some project can go on, we can divide duration in three parts. One is a short duration project, then there is medium duration, and then there is long duration, right? So in short term project, it can be between like 2 to 3 months, and then if it is a medium, okay, wait, this 2 to 3 months. And if it is a medium duration project, then it can be till 6 months, 6 to 8 months. And if it is a long project, that can go till above 12, greater than 12 months, right? So this is another way you will get to know that what is the duration of a project. Now, after this is my second way to know about the project. And third type is based on the complexity. Complexity is nothing but that some projects are easy to work on, like they have low complexity. Another has medium complexity. Third has high complexity. Now, for those who were not there in the first session, just want to tell you that, or maybe you know about if you have gone through the webinar video. So ServiceNow is an enterprise tool wherein ServiceNow has multiple products, right? One is ITSM, then we have HRSD, we have CSM. You think of any field, ServiceNow would be having a product there. FSM is there. Then if I talk about security, we have GRC. So this is my ServiceNow sitting on top. This is the color. And then these are my different products. One product, and then this is my second product. This is my third product and fourth product. And it is not only limited to these 4 or 5 products. There are good number of products, right? So when I say complexity, low complexity, so now even under these products, I have application. Like under ITSM, I have incident, then I have change and all. Now, do not think too much about it because I have not started ServiceNow itself, right? I'm just giving you a good idea about what kind of project you can see. Now, when I say complexity, it can be like one component of this complete ITSM. So that way I'll call it very low complexity or something which I'm able to complete within 2 to 3 months, right? So here I can have like single application to be installed. And in medium, I can have multiple application. And then in high complexity, I can have multiple products to be installed. Multiple products. Okay, so this is how these different kind of project you can see when you will be joining a ServiceNow project. It can be an implementation project, it can be a support project, it can be a migration project, right? Or there is one more type, upgrade. You will get to know about all of these things and when we'll start ServiceNow. Then duration, it can be a short-term project, medium or long-term. Complexity, it can be low complexity, medium complexity, and high complexity. So this is one way to understand your project. Now, after we have understood about this project, now we want to see the phases, or I can call it life cycle of project. I'll shift here. So every project will follow a structured path from start to completion, right? It defines how a project is planned, executed, monitored, and closed, right? For a business analyst, you need to understand and ensure that all of these life cycles are properly aligned and you are sharing the deliverables in all of these life cycles. We need to know like what deliverables I have to share in each of these phases. In the last class, we have discussed that as a BA, I would want to focus on the deliverables that is pending on me. For example, as a BA, I'll have deliverables for like this: BRD, FRD, user stories. Testers will have certain deliverables, like they will have to test and work on the test cases. Developer would be creating these um, uh, whatever the requirements will be given to them, right? We'll also come on to the deliverables part of a project soon. It is there in our uh, in the project this business analyst roadmap. So phases, we want to see the life cycle of a project. Now let's see, these are the different phases: initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control, and closure. Now, what are these phases? We will look at in the next slide. See, when we are in the initiation phase, the BA's responsibility is to identify the business goals, define the scope, understand stakeholders. For example, like as I was saying, that this is your business side, here is the BA, and then we have technical people. So in my initiation phase, what I want to do, initiation, right? I would want to understand um, what are my business goals, right? Now, who will tell me this part? This will be coming in from the client. I want to understand the pain points, right? And then I want to also understand their as is process. Like, what is it that they are doing today, right? Also, what are their expectations? So you will be having a meeting with these stakeholders. And if you see all of these things, business goals, pain points, as is, expectation, all of these will be shared by your client. So as a BA, it is very much important that if you are going into the meeting, you need to understand the first thing is you need to understand which phase you are into. Second, we need to understand what is the agenda. So here, if we are saying that maybe this is in the initial phase of your or initial part of your project, you will see. Okay, okay. So what you will see here, this phase typically is for like maximum 1 week, can be stretched to the second week, right? Wherein you will be having certain stakeholders from the business side. They will be coming on the calls, and they will be telling you that this is what we want to achieve. These are my pain points. This is what we are doing today, and this is what we're expecting, right? So as a BA, you would be understanding all of these things, right? This will be happening in my initiation phase. Uh, let me take a pause and let me ask, is there any query from anyone so far?
No, we're good.
Okay, thank you. At any point, if you have any query and you see that I have not noticed it, you can please put your query in the chat. Maybe when we'll take a pause, I will refer to your query and will try to answer it. Just a moment. Let me plug in my charger. And do not worry that, right now it is all about there is no service now. It is coming up, but before even we move to the service now, let's understand as a BA what we will be doing, right? And then certainly we'll see in ServiceNow, I'll have three screens. One, I'll have PPT, second, I'll have this Excel, and third, I'll have ServiceNow itself. Okay, so we are done with my initiation phase. Then I'll move to my planning and design. In planning and design, herein I'll start working on. I'll come here. See, I'm just talking about this short-term project here. Okay, in this phase, I'm just taking a simple example of short-term. Now in planning and design phase, maybe this can be for like 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. And here, what we want to do is we want to start planning. Just a moment. Can we all go on mute if you're not speaking? So, yes, we'll come here. Okay. Next part is my planning and design. So what we'll do in planning and design, I'll start working on the requirements. I'll prepare BRD, align with the project goals, right? So here, all the information that I've gathered from here, now I'll start creating my I'll start requirement gathering. Like I'll have sessions with the different stakeholders. I want to understand the requirements, right? I'll create documents. You might have to create FRD, then user stories. Also, you might have to create a process diagram. Okay, so here I'll create these FRDs, BRD, user stories, process diagram. Now, what is FRD, user stories, and process diagram? That is coming up. This is my plan. See, it will be coming up here. Stakeholder requirement management and requirement gathering and documentation. Okay. So let me come here. Okay. So I'll start creating these documents. Now, when I have created these documents, I'll move to my third phase. Third phase is my execution. Okay, what happens in execution? In execution, most of my work will be taken over by developer and my tester. Based on the requirements that I have given them, they will start development work, right? And once development is completed, then testing will be started. The same thing will be tested. This is my execution, right? And after execution is done, then I'll do the this is called monitoring and also called the delivery and monitoring part. You can call it together. I think it is like once you have completed the testing, then you might have a round of testing with your UAT team. UAT is your user acceptance testing, wherein you have users from the client side and they want to see how the product is looking like before we make anything into the prod, right? So we'll have to check that whether it is working in test or not. And in case you're not able to understand what is this prod, what is this dev and test, so we have different environments, right? I have one environment, and let me call it environment. Environment is nothing but it's a space wherein, see, for different purpose. One is my dev environment, then I have test, and third is my prod. Because I cannot develop anything and directly send into a prod. Prod is your live environment. When I say live, it means this is where actual users are using your application, right? So before even moving to anything into prod or live environment, I'll have to keep it into a test. In test environment, there will be UAT person who can come, and even the business users can come and see like how it is working. So we can check. Here we can do the validation. And before validation, this is the actual ground where developers will be creating application. So here they do not have any restriction that anything can go wrong or go right. Here they will be just this is their playground where they'll come and they will start creating. After creation, will move it to test, and from test they will move it to prod. Okay, so this is what I meant. So in delivery and monitoring, You might be having a UAT, and then finally, you will secure a sign off that we are good, whatever these processes are, and then um, you will move it to deployment. When I say deployment, it means you will move it to your prod environment, right? And then you have last part called closure. And after deployment, there is a period wherein you would be, um, just a moment. Okay. After delivery monitoring, once you have deployed, then there will be a hypercare support. See, all these are terms that you will be encountering in your um, projects. Hypercare support. Hypercare support is nothing but, suppose I have deployed something, it is live. Now, this is not the case that, anything that I am putting into live will never have any issues. There will be certain issues. So usually client will ask for a 30 days hypercare support, or maybe 2 months, like 60 days. So what happens in hypercare support when this my application is live? If I find any issue happening, or if it is not working as expected, so they can quickly raise a defect. I am sure we all know what is a defect, or we would have definitely raised a defect. Do we know what is a defect? Anyone who doesn't know what is a defect? Okay, there is no answer.
Okay, so I guess
Yes,
any glitch in the product or the product that's been made,
thank you. Thank you,
any
Shashwati. That is
issue,
right.
Defect is an
troubleshoot.
So,
error. Something is out of the specification.
great, great. Thank you, Bautik. So, see, let's not keep it this session from like from one end to the another. Let's make it bi-directional. Let's not keep it that, I am telling you and then there is no response. I am sure if you are not able to, if you're not able to speak, you can definitely put into chat, right? So that way, I'll also know that you're following me and you're able to understand. And in certain point, if I ask question and if you like some point, right? So you can put a react also, like your thumbs up or something. So that way I'll get to know that we are on the same page. All good so far? Can you all give me a thumbs up, please?
Yeah, everything's good.
Thank you, Go.
Yeah, so
Great, great.
so a defect, anything that's off of deviates
Mm-hmm.
anything from the requirements that we find in production
Mm-hmm.
is usually a defect. If we find it while we're testing before it goes to prod, it's usually considered a bug.
Right, great. That is the right answer. So here in this hypercare support, I can raise defect, and usually client will say that you keep 2 3 resources here from your ServiceNow team, and they will be working on these defects. So that is hypercare support. And after this is done, last part is your closure. Closure is nothing but um, you will be going back to the initial point, and then you will be discussing that whatever has been asked in this project is completed. It's like wrapping up your project. You will be sending all the deliverables, all the checklist will be mentioned here, and they will highlight that that's a successful closure of the project. So these are your, on a very high level, these are your uh, phases of a project. Right. Now let me move to the next part of it. If I tell you like any software, so it's not, so this is usually part of your service now. But if I tell you about any of the software development lifecycle, these are your phases, right? Um, First phase is your requirement gathering. Then you will do analysis, and this is nothing but it's a slight extension of this phase. And here you will see a clear demarcation. What stakeholder would be performing what role. So you'll see first three phases, requirement gathering, analysis, and design, would be completely taken over by by you people, business analyst, right? You will be very well supported by developers, architect, right, project manager, and also from the client side. Then we will have development. This is where, so understand it is never, all of these phases. If I tell you, like it is requirement gathering, then it is analysis, and this is design. Here it's development and testing. If I tell you like different stakeholders, I have BA, then I have project manager, I also have architect, then I have developer and tester. See how the responsibilities or how the contribution in these different phases changes. So this is a rough idea. It can be up and down also. BA requirement gathering would be like 70% of the work will be done by BA. Here also I'll mention 70%. This design part is also 70%. Very well supported by architect, right? I'll call it 20%. And here also analysis 15%. Wouldn't we have senior and junior BAs? Okay, I'll tie your question to here when we discussed about complexity, right? This can be a low complexity, medium complexity, high complexity. If it is a project wherein you have multiple projects, here you can have uh, like 2 BA or maybe 3 BA as well. That totally depends on these factors. Like if it is a medium complexity, but it is short-term project, then definitely you need multiple resources. Right. If it is a simple project and also low complexity, then I need single BA. So all of these factors will decide the number of resources. And who will decide that, what resources I will be onboarding? That is the job of project manager. Okay. So now from after development, so everything will shift to developers. Here they will have 70% say, you will have maybe 10%. Now, when I say development, it doesn't mean that you will be developing, but at least you will come and see what they are doing. And you would want to see that, if they might have some queries regarding a requirement, so you will help them, right? And then testing also, you might have 20% of the contribution. So this is how the contribution in a project looks like. Yes, Preet.
Uh, I have a question, Nishant.
Mm-hmm.
You just mentioned that the BA has the 70% more involvement in the initial stage of the project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
requirement analysis and design,
Right.
where they collaborate with all these architects, developer, testers. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, in this stage,
Mm-hmm.
do the business analyst use any kind of platforms, or is it just like I can see it's more like report based, or using and then analyze the report and then use any MS Excel or MS Word, or do the business analysis analyst use some kind of platforms to ease their job?
Understood. So basically, you're asking what kind of techniques a BA would be using to gather the requirement,
Right.
right? So you will have to wait a little bit because I would be covering that in my fourth and fifth session.
So,
What are requirement gathering process and what all document you will be using to gather the requirements.
Okay.
Here
Okay.
also I will talk about requirement management.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Let me come here. So this is on the technical side, right? I also mentioned that there will be a business side. Very well, that business people will be there to help you, but you will have those meetings, maybe like one meeting, two meeting, depending on how they want to have these sessions planned with you. So based on that, you can have a clarification and all of those. But mostly within a team, this is how the contribution would look like. It can go up and down depending on the project. But very rough, this is how it looks like. So as I mentioned, first three stages you will have major contribution, and then after that you will have less contribution, more on the validation part. You will start validating whether developers are doing right or wrong. If they have any query or if they need any clarification, you will be with them, helping with those clarification. You might go on the call with them. Suppose if they need some help, there are some bottlenecks related to some process, so you will have to find the right stakeholders. After see, one important responsibilities of a BA is your stakeholder management. First, you will have to identify the right stakeholder. Then second part is understanding who can help me on which part. So that is also I will be covering. So we'll know what all stakeholders we would be facing in a project. Okay. So here you are setting the foundation, and then it will be easy for developer tester to work on. If I move to the next part. Okay. Now I know that, I understood the PA's responsibilities. I also understood what kind of project I can see. I also now know the different phases of a project. Now there are certain uh, methodology, right, by which I can deliver a project, right? So one of the very famous methodology is waterfall model. Anyone heard about waterfall model?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's a step by step compared to agile where everything happens parallelly.
Great. Thank you, Mayur. So those who do not know what is a waterfall model, so there is nothing different, but all of these phases that we were discussing, there are set steps that we want to follow in waterfall. So if I talk about waterfall, it is a linear and sequential approach. You will understand what is the meaning of these term in a while. Linear sequential means one after the other. So these are your different phases. It is nothing different from what we just discussed, but then they have certain phases. Like first is your requirement, second design, development, testing, deployment, and maintenance. All we have just discussed, right? But the downside of using a waterfall model is that once you complete requirement, then you will move to design, right? After you have moved to design, you cannot come back to requirement. Once you complete design, you'll move to development. And at this phase, if you realize that there is one more requirement, you cannot go back to this requirement. Now you will have to flow like this only. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. At any point, if you realize or your customer realize that maybe we are not going into the right direction, or we want to include more requirements, so you cannot go back. So you will be completing one cycle, then there will be a new release or new cycle. From there, you will add those requirements and work on. So in that way, it is, rigid to the changes. In case if in a mid project you want to make any changes, it is very difficult. So waterfall was common in older ServiceNow implementation. Okay, because it is each phase. Once you complete one phase, then only you can move to the other. But in older implementation, ServiceNow's implementation, it was used. But nowadays, this has been replaced by Agile. I hope you have heard about Agile. If not, then we are covering Agile. I'll have a special meeting or a special session on Agile. I'll also show you how Agile works. We'll do a demo uh, uh, in BA fundamentals and also in ServiceNow. Okay, but nowadays Agile is dominating. So what you will see, let me see if Agile is completed here, or Agile I will be doing in. Perfect. Agile is coming in my next class. Okay, but just to give you a little information about Agile, in Agile there is, as the name suggests, you have there is a agility in the project, If there is any change from the client, you can incorporate it. And it's a small cycle. Suppose this project can go on for like 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. In Agile, there are sprints. You do it for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maximum is for 4 weeks. So in that way, you have small uh, success. Do not worry, we are covering Agile in my next class. Okay, but understand Agile is more flexible. It is more collaborative, more communication is happening between client and your development team, and you are open to take feedbacks. So that way, Agile is most of your project today. When you will join any project, um, here how the composition would look like this: 80% would be in Agile, and hardly 20% would be in waterfall. If I move to the next part, these are the typical meetings that you will see in a project. First would be kickoff call. If I tie it back to here, in my initiation session, as I mentioned, that here it's like an introduction, like who are the different stakeholders and what are their responsibilities, right? So as soon as this kickoff happens, your responsibilities is to understand the different stakeholders, what are their expectations and their objectives. So consider here you are working more as a um, passive listener. You're just listening to their points. I mean, you can certainly can suppose if there is a session of 60 minutes, so consider that 40 minutes would be taken care by these stakeholders from the client side, when they will be talking about their site. Just 10 minutes, you might have to pitch in and ask. You can ask certain question, and what questions to ask, that I'll tell you, that we will be discussing in the upcoming sessions. Then there will be discovery calls. Discovery calls is nothing but you will understand the process, get the requirements. So here you will be having in planning and design phase, you will be having discovery calls. You can have these discovery calls with individual stakeholders, with multiple teams, with the client side, and also there will be certain end users who will help you to gather the requirements. Third, and Preet, I think here I'm answering some part of your question, that how do you gather requirement, right? So one way is meetings. You want to have meetings with the different stakeholders. Then daily stand-ups. So daily stand-up is nothing but this is with your technical team. So in the execution phase, when I'll have my developers, I want to have a 15-minute stand-up call. What is a stand-up call? That is coming up in the agile. So in stand-up call, I want to have a meeting with developers and want to understand on what user story, on what requirement they are working. If they have any challenge and what is the status of that requirement. Are they able to complete it? If not, what is the challenge? Then you will find the stakeholder and you will have a meeting with the stakeholder. Try to fix that or fix the query they're having or any issues that they're having. So that we will do in your daily stand-up. And after that, you will see some governance meeting. This is usually done by your project manager. He will be presenting the progress, risk areas, right? Then there will be approval meetings. So after every stages, when you're moving from one stage to another stage, you want to take approval. One approval you will be taking whenever you have fixed the requirements. Suppose you have created user stories, you have created process diagram, you have created um, FRD. So you want to first take an approval from the client that this is what I have gathered. Are you okay with these requirements? Is it Are these requirements will be enough for you to achieve your business goals? Is it addressing your pain points? Right. So you will take an approval. Approvals are very important, right? So you always want to have a written approval, as in on email. On email, you would want to take those approvals, right? After it is coming up, I will be sharing what a FRD looks like. I will be sharing a template with you. But since you asked this question, let me clarify what is BRD and FRD. BRD, FRD. BRD is your business requirement document, and FRD is your functional requirement document. Business requirement document will tell you high level business objective. Okay. And functional requirement will tell you how system will behave. That, for example, just very simple example, if I can give you about login page, right? Business requirement could be that I want to have a page wherein people can come and log in and see their account. Functional requirement would be that there will be a login page. You will have the credentials. You will enter those credentials, right? You will submit it, and then you will log in to account. This is how system will behave. That is my functional requirement. Business requirement is high level. What is it that what I want to achieve? Okay. So you want to take an approval on all of these deliverables. Then UAT sessions. UAT sessions are nothing but user acceptance testing. So you will be having uh, like one or two or three sessions wherein you will be giving test cases to the end user and they will be testing it. And then they will give you feedback. How you're going to work on it, we'll also see this part as well. And last part, you will have a closure. These are your different meetings. In closure meeting, it's like a retrospective when you want to go ahead on all of these phases, and if you have you want to understand what were the things that went right. There are certain things which did not went into the right direction. So you want to take lessons from those learnings. Good lessons, bad lessons, what to avoid and what to accept or what to take forward. You can have those lessons and you can document those things, and then for the future projects you can uh, change your strategy of working on a project, right? So these are your typical meetings that you will see in your um, project. If I move to the next part, the project template, this is how a project would look like. This is nothing but what we have discussed already. Initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, closure. These are your key activities. You will understand goals. Here you will have requirement session. Then in execution, is configuration and testing, right? Test cases. Also add development. And then in monitoring, you will be tracking the progress, change logs, and then closure, UAT, handover, sign off docs. So this is how a very high level a project template looks like. I think this is a small activity that I would want to give you as a mini assignment. I do not have any, assignments this week, but next week onwards, I will be giving you certain assignments that you will have to complete. This week, I'm just giving you a simple assignment. Um, think of the project that you are currently working in. Not necessarily that it will be IT project. It can be a non-IT project as well. Identified which phase you are into, or the template that I've shared with you, like you are in the initiation phase, planning phase, execution, monitoring, and closure. Then see what activities are there. Have we seen any activity like this? Initiation, planning, execution. Some in most of your projects, you will see these things happening. If not, then maybe the nature of the project might be different. But what I want to do is try to identify what all meetings you are having on daily basis, on weekly basis, right? And what is the agenda of those meetings, right? How communication is happening, identifying who is your stakeholders, right? There are two sides. One is your client side, then there is your internal team. Identify who are there and see if you can map somewhere these processes, right? So that is a mini assignment that I want to give you. I am not expecting you to share me any response. Just see if you can find, if you can align, or if you can do a correlation. That is it. Um, This is all about the project life cycle, right? What a BA would be working on. And in next class, we will be working on agile framework. We will be understanding how the project um has moved from the phase delivery, as in the waterfall, to a iterative delivery. So we'll know what is iterative and how it works. So in agile, what all activities we are doing. So far, what we have done is we understood the PA's roles and responsibilities. Then in today's class, we understood where all those roles and responsibilities fit into a project. Right. In the next class, we would be looking at the mostly or the widely accepted project methodology to deliver this project. That is agile. And what is your responsibilities? What is your contribution in an agile project? This is it from today's session. I am open to the question. If you are having any question, I can take those. So you can write your query in the chat. If not, you can ask your question also.
Hi, Nishant. I have a question.
Yes, Mayur.
Right, so great session. Thank you so much. It was quite streamlined. I really like it. So my question is, this is a competitive job market, right? So
Mm-hmm.
after the completion of this program, what level of hands-on experience do you think someone who has completed this program would have equivalent to someone who has already been in this field? So, we'll be doing projects and everything. So, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what level of hands-on experience do you think we would have? Who does this equate to?
Okay. So two things. First, you mentioned that competition is high. Perfect. Competition is always high, right? Second thing is, what is the opportunity? I understand competition is high, but at the same time, you will see a very good number of projects or requirements coming up into the market. Here, since ServiceNow is new, not new, it is now flourishing. Now, so if I talk about the Fortune 500 companies, I think around 70 to 80% of the companies are using ServiceNow. Now,
Right.
when all of them are using that is the opportunity, because now here demand is high, and at the same time quality resources, and also the resources. Even if I remove quality from the resources, is on the lower side. So this is the right time for you to grab these opportunities. That is first thing. Second thing is, I know that there are certain BAs who are into the service now. But the problem is this BPC role has come into the picture in last 2-3 years only. Before that, you know, developers or architects were taking care of the BA part. But nowadays they realize that there is a need. Because see, all of these things, starting part, developer will never have the mindset of understanding, why am I having this requirement? Why do I need as is? And at the same time, this architect will only think about service now. BA is the person who is just not talking in terms of the technical, but he is also understanding the uh, business need as well. So that is why in the recent, I think last 4 or 5 years, this role is booming like anything.
Okay, so
Now,
if I understand you correctly, right? So
Mhm.
you say the BPC roles been new to the market, and so even the most seasoned BPC would have like 3 years of experience.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
And if I tell you, like if there is all of the person who are into the BA job, so definitely there would be some person who are right from working. So if I talk about myself, my first project was in ServiceNow only,
Right.
right? And there I'll tell you that after finishing this course, it is not only the BA or BPC you would be targeting, there are multiple roles you can target.
Right.
And why I'm saying you, because I have played those roles. One of the role is, why we are doing ITSM, there is a reason. In ITSM, there are 4 to 5 applications, and each of the application has a role. If I tell you about incident, you can search into the in job market or in the Google. There is a role of incident manager, and they will specifically ask that you should have a knowledge on ServiceNow. There is a role of change manager. They will specifically ask that you should know how a change works and specifically on ServiceNow. Why? Because all of these applications under ServiceNow is widely used.
Right.
Though I'm
So,
not suggesting you go for these roles, you can, but you have options. But as a BA, now these people, some do not understand the nitty-gritties that we are going to cover in these training. So half of them will not even know these, we discussed about this CMO, FMO, all of these process. And I will be sharing you certain information from my personal experience as well. So that way you will have an edge with the person who do not have experience, who have not gone through training. At the same time, if someone has gone through, if they are already working as a BA, we will be giving you hands-on. Second, we will be giving you certain projects that you can look up to. And it is not only the hands-on projects. I'll also want you to think in a way that the current process or the current project you are into, you can think of how you can bring in ServiceNow there. This
Right.
is my end goal would be.
Right. Awesome. One last question is, once
Mhm,
we handle the projects, is there a
mhm.
sandbox environment we'll have access to?
Definitely. So that is the beauty. As I mentioned, see, BA is done. As in this BA fundamental is done, I think from third week itself, I'll have 3 screen.
Okay.
This is my PPT, working Excel, and third would be my ServiceNow. So you will in ServiceNow, the way you're calling sandbox in ServiceNow, we call it PDI. The full form of PDI is Personal Developer Instance. So you all will be having your personal instance. You can log in there and you can practice everything. So whatever we are teaching or whatever we are discussing in the class, same thing, you can do it in your instance. I will be giving you certain assignments. So you will be performing those assignments on this PDA.
Got it. Thank you, Nishan.
You're welcome.
and Sean,
Any other question? Yes. Yes,
so
go.
like for the incident manager and change manager, so would
Mm-hmm.
that be like a year down the road, like once we've landed our job in
Mm-hmm.
ServiceNow as a BA, and then we can transition into one of those positions, or how would that work?
See, this incident manager, change manager is itself a role. Right. So you do not, I mean, it is totally up to the personal's your personal choice if you want
But
to move into incident manager. But I'll tell you something. This is so this is service now. If I try to draw, this is just a small part, right? In service now, this is one product. Okay, this is another product, and this is another product. Right. If I talk about first product, ITSM. In ITSM, I have one application, or I'll create here. This is my one application. Then I have another application, third application, maybe 5 or 6 application I have here. So one is my incident application, right? So any process, any application that you are creating in ITSM or tomorrow, suppose if it is HRSD, and tomorrow if there is GRC, understand every application will have a user, right? Who would be working. So if I'm creating incident, there will be someone working on incident. If I'm creating here, like here, I'll have HR agents, right? Here, I have case. I'll create case in HRSD. To solve the case, I have a HR agent, right? So anytime you can go through it, but I personally would recommend that as a BA, You do not want to limit your scope by understanding the complete service now to just incident management. I would want you to, once you have done ITSM, you move to HRSD, you move to GRC, you move to CSM, FSM. That way, you are widening your portfolio. Consider today it is ServiceNow, and I'm sure the ServiceNow will be there for like good 10 to 15 years minimum. But suppose tomorrow, if I do not even take example of HRS, this ITSM, I think most of you would have heard about this tool Jira. Do we know what is Jira?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so Jira is used for defect management. Jira is used for user story. Jira is used for uh, even incident. We can use for incident as well. But if you look at ServiceNow, nobody wants to use Jira nowadays because all of these things I can do it in ServiceNow also. And ServiceNow is where most of the people are using it, right? So now if I tell you how to create a defect, how to create an incident, and what is a user story. Now beat any tool. Today it is Jira, and nowadays ServiceNow. Tomorrow if ServiceNow is replaced, you understand what is ITSM or you understand what is user story. Now you bring in any tool, I will be able to do it. Same example is with process diagram. There is one way that you can use Lucid chart. You can use Draw. There is a tool. This is freely available, draw.io. Okay. The other tool is Visio. Okay. Now, for me, if you ask me, you do not give me any of these tools. I can still create a process diagram on PPT. I understand the concept. So when you understand ITSM, today it is ServiceNow, tomorrow it is any tool. Though ServiceNow will be there for like very good amount of for a very good duration, 10-15 years minimum. But I would suggest you widen your scope. ITSM, HRSD, GRC. Now, when I talk about this, there is one question coming up into the chat that are we covering GRC? So the answer is no. Because to complete one module, you need a good amount of time. But to answer your query, like I will not leave you that, ITSM is done and I am going away. I will be doing ITSM, then I will take it HRSD. I'll do a overview. In overview, I would tell you, suppose if I am new to HRSD, what is it that I'm going to learn? What is it that I'm going to approach? Because tomorrow it is not only ITSM that you will be working on. You might be able to work on GRC. So how to approach GRC? That I will be teaching you by taking an example of HRSD. Hope that answers your query, Shashwat. Sorry, Shashwati.
So I would not practice.
Yes, Ved, your question.
So I was please, I'm not
So,
good type of the practice because I need to have a lot of practice and exposure in what you
Just
have.
a minute. Let me first put everyone on mute. Yes, Ved.
thank you.
You can unmute
Um,
and ask it. Yes, Ved.
this is pertaining to the migration projects, right? Could you share
Mhm, mhm,
examples of large organizations in Canada or maybe in North America that currently use or have used PMC Remedy? We spoke about one of the common platforms that are migration projects, right? I mean,
mhm,
again,
mhm.
from BMC Remedy to Service. Do you happen to know any top organizations? Thanks.
Okay. About migration projects, see, it depends on simple example I can give you is uh, one of the company, I will not name it, but I'll tell you. So they were using this is little absurd. They were using these leaves management on ITSM and then they migrated to HRSD. Right. Also, now it is under ServiceNow only, but another example could be that you can manage this user story and everything in Jira. Now you're not using it, you're migrating everything to ITSM. Basically, when we do migration, the thing that I want to tell you is Migration doesn't mean that you're using one tool today and then you're using another tool today. Migration means, suppose you are using one tool here. For example, I'll take example of Jira only. Jira you are using for user story. Okay, what user story is, we'll discuss in upcoming classes. So in user story, you are maintaining Jira. Now, the business decided that we do not want to use Jira and we want to use now ServiceNow. Okay. Now there is one way that I will start using ServiceNow and I do not need any of these user stories in ServiceNow. Like all of this data, I'll archive or I'll put a data dump or I'll put it into Snowflake. This is one way. In that case, I do not need migration. But if there is a plan wherein I would want to use this data in my new tool also, then I'll have to migrate everything to here. Does it make sense? Wait,
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm following. So
right,
basically, what you're saying is, irrespective of the platform, um,
right.
as long as the concept is clear. But again, my question is more towards understanding
Mhm.
what are the organizations, right? I mean, name a big company, something like, okay, for example, currently
This
yeah,
this example is from
Deloitte.
Deloitte.
Okay, perfect. Okay, cool.
Okay,
Thanks.
and then I can you I mean right now I'm naming the example. You can think about uh, in Fortune 500 you can pick any of the company. Most of them are using. And if it is specifically about US, I can tell you few other accounts. Eli
Yeah.
Lilly, you search, you will find Eli Lilly. So these are all our life sciences account. Sanofi is there, GSK is there, and then there is account called Merck. Merck and
No.
Merck something like this. And then there is Merck's as well. There are a lot of accounts.
Okay. Basically, all I wanted to know is, are there enough projects, right? I mean, that's exactly where I was coming to. But thanks.
Lots,
You've
lots of project. I'll tell you,
okay.
ServiceNow is very smart in these
Nice.
way. So first
Yeah.
is there are certain implementation partner of like who will help you to implement ServiceNow. So there are some big size, small size, medium size. So ServiceNow is telling them you find a client who wants to implement ServiceNow and you implement there. At the same time, ServiceNow is saying that to the implementation partner that you install ServiceNow in your environment also. Let's suppose there can be a client, suppose Deloitte is one ServiceNow partner. Okay. So they are saying you find a client who wants to implement ServiceNow, you go and implement ServiceNow. Perfect. But at the same time, since you are my implementation partner, now I want you to use ServiceNow in your internal organization as well. So there are two ways. So one way is the client who is using ServiceNow is definitely using ServiceNow. But at the same time, if there is a company who is implementation partner of ServiceNow. So they're saying you use ServiceNow in your internal. So suppose they are using for like HRSD leave process management, or they're using it for learning management. They're using it for incident management. So they're saying in all of those processes, you bring in ServiceNow. So that way, ServiceNow is there in most of the companies now.
Nice. Nice. It's basically capturing the market. Cool.
Right,
Awesome.
right.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for clarifying.
You're welcome. Okay.
Right. Nishant, so all this migration and everything, these use cases will be covered in our projects, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
We are covering.
Nishant, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So in the service now,
Mm-hmm.
you tell us there are different applications, different products.
Right. Right.
Okay. So can you go down in this Excel sheet? Yeah. So
Yes.
this ITSM, these are the products and these are the applications, incident
Correct.
and all. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, the functionality of all these products are similar, or is it different? Because you just mentioned that. it's also, it also enhance your profile if you know all these products. So let's say if I know the ITSM and there is some opening, they need the employer need that you have the knowledge on HRST, this product. So can I able, if I know the ITSM, so can I able to understand HRST? The
Okay,
functionality is same. That's what I'm saying.
okay, understood. So, see, the training structure here is that before I even go to these products, we are doing admin. Okay. Admin will tell you how to operate any of these product. Okay. Now, once you complete your admin, then we will move to product specific. First, if I start with ITSM, so ITSM is one core product of ServiceNow. Consider that ServiceNow started with ITSM only. And from ITSM, rest of the modules started flourishing. But once you complete ITSM, I'm not saying that if you know ITSM, then you will know HRSD also. No. But if you know ITSM, it will be very easy for you to pick HRSD. It will be very easy for you to pick CSM. It will be very easy for you to pick FSM. Then there is ITAM. In ITAM, you have HAM, Hardware Asset Management. There is SAM, Software Asset Management. If you under ITSM, very easy for you to start moving into other. Now, if we have different products, certainly there are different methodology of those products, right? ITSM is all about the issues that you are facing in your environment. It can be related to suppose your laptop is not working or email is not working. But HRSD all about HR related stuff, wherein you will have leaves are not there, or you want to know about your why your salary is not credited this month, or you want to add a new nominee in your insurance. So that domain knowledge, that like product knowledge will be there, but how to operate on it, I will give you an overview like how to work on HRSD or how you're going to approach that module. So if suppose there is a new opening of FSM, they say that we want someone who is experienced in FSM, they can come and join. So how you want to position yourself is you want to tell them that I am a ServiceNow VA who has exposure. You will tell you that this is your competency. There is primary module and there are secondary module. So you want to pitch yourself like this, that I'm experienced in ITSM, I know the admin part, and also will cover SPM. In SPM, I will be telling you how to work on agile and everything. So you can tell them that primary I worked on these modules. Secondary, you can tell them if there is a requirement on FSM, suppose, right? Or there is a requirement for HRSD. So you can tell them that I have an exposure of HRSD. Now, till the time you will have that interview, maybe you will have it in like next week, you will have 7 days to prepare. I will be telling you how to approach a new module. So that will be enough for you to have an exposure. So in that way, you are not missing out on that opportunity. You can still go there and face the interview. So it will be enough for you to answer some of the questions, like what question they can expect. You will not mention that I have a solid understanding about the product they're saying, but yes, I have a good exposure, and that will be enough. Also, when you see the other products like FSM, HRSD, here resources are super less. Consider only ITSM, you will see a lot of people, but on the other modules, you will see less resources. So having an exposure will give you an edge.
Okay, and there will be like a certification only like HRSD because as per my knowledge, this BA is a bigger umbrella. Under that, there are, this products and then comes the
Mm-hmm.
applications. Will there be, I know that there are some courses on the BA, right? Will
Mm-hmm.
there be a further to it like that specialized in HRSD, GRSC or such thing that employer could ask?
No.
No?
See, how
Okay.
certification works in ServiceNow is first you will have a CSA. CSA is your certified system admin. Then you have CIS. CIS certifies implementation specialist. This CIS is is especially for your architects and your um, developers. Okay. But even if BA is having, it's good. But as a mandatory, this is expected from a BA that at least you should have an experience on CSA. Considering we do not have a previous experience working in ServiceNow, at least this credential would be enough to showcase that yes, you have clarified, you have not clarified, you have cleared CSA, you have gone through this training of system administrator, you know what is a service, what is. At the same time, this will help you to qualify for the job, not qualify for the interview. Now, how you will perform in the interview, like what would be your answers, would be enough if you complete this training. You would know what is, I mean, that part you leave it up to my training. So you will be able to answer those questions. But to qualify for the interview, you need to have CSA.
Okay.
Does it make sense? And once you join company, then
Mhm.
you ask, you take, you can discuss with your employer. There will be certain implementation partner. There you will have free certification. If not, then you can take a reimbursement once you are into the job.
Okay. So CSA would be enough to tap into this, right? In
Right, right, right.
okay, for people like who has no, like me, who doesn't have any experience as a BA.
Correct.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Just to add to that question, Preet, we also would need a Scrum Master certification, right? CSA is the must, but we also need a Scrum Master certification. It only take a day or two for you to complete it. You can take it from International Scrum Institute. It'll cost you only $50 US. So, you know, you can take that too. That's also important. Okay.
Okay, a quick question. W- how much the price is for this CSA certification? What is the price?
$300.
300
300
dollars.
USD. 300 USD.
Yes, USD.
Yeah.
Well, it's very
And for the Sacrum, it's you told $50, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
50 USD. Okay.
USD. Okay.
We will be sharing all those links by the end of the training. You know, there will be by the time you guys are finishing the training, you will know how to go about it. Nishant would have shared a lot of information on how to go about the certification. We will also share dumps to clear those certifications as well.
Right.
But you need to complete this training, at least the administrative part, right? So that you can approach those certifications.
Right. Sudish, my question is, you said Scrum Master. I already have PSM. So is
That's
that
good.
okay?
That's good.
So I don't need to go for CSM, right? So
No,
PSM.
no, you don't have to. It's good. See, I tell
so
you what, CSM, PSM, they all are brands. They're big brands. Okay. This certification is only going to get us interviews. That's it. The really your performance is based on, especially in this program in ServiceNow. If you see, we are talking about specialization over here. Going forward, if you really want to do well as a BA, you need to specialize. Today, ServiceNow is in high demand and low in supply. Okay. So your interview is like almost a good, most of the interviews are 90% ServiceNow and 10% BA kind of question scenario. So we're going to give you a ton of interview questions for you to prepare. You're going to be super ready for it. Okay. So don't worry about it. This is a great session. I like the engagement from everybody. I know there are a lot of new guys. I know I spoke to a lot of many of people, and some of them are new. If you haven't known me, my name is Sudish Anand. I'm the founder of Lead Techno and Staffing and Consulting Services. And Nishant is my colleague, and he takes care of the ServiceNow portfolio. And so, guys, we have one more complimentary session on Saturday for you. Yeah. So the session timings is Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday evening at 8:30 p.m. One more session on Saturday. Come and get to know more about us and more about Nishant and our services. Talk to me more to understand, how you want to take it forward. You really got to own your career. And I specialize in marketing in US and Canada, so we'll continue to talk about that. Yes, it's going to be a hands-on training, Veena. It's going to be on BA, also on the ServiceNow side too, both of it. Yeah. All right. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, so as Vina mentioned, so do we need to do SQL basics as well?
If you know it, it's good. If you don't, it's all
Um,
right. Depends on the scenario.
no. So to answer in short, we are not supposed to do SQL, but we'll do alternative SQL. Very easy. You will understand how to work on it. So we'll do a quick session on when we'll move to ServiceNow. But if you're having experience, like if you know SQL basics, super. If you do not know, then also we'll cover how to work on it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because I know like some of the BAs that I work with, some have no idea, and then the other ones know the world, right?
Yeah.
Correct,
Not
correct.
everybody knows SQL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Not everybody knows SQL.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. It's not fun. I don't like SQL either. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. Yeah. So guys, you know what? Great. You know what? This is amazing. So we're gonna send the recordings to you. Please check your spam folder for the first time, because you may find our invites and the recordings which you're sitting in the spam folder. So you need to unspam us so that you can start getting our communications. After Saturday, the next session will be next week, Tuesday. You will have to make a commitment to start with us. And I do want to tell you that we operate in US and Canada. We do have marketing services and all of those good stuff. Continue to talk about us. And yeah, so for Canada guys, it's 1,700 Canadian. You have 3 pay installment options. And for the US guys, it's 1,250 USD. And again, you have 2 or 3 installment options. We are very convenient with all this good stuff. I'm very excited for you guys. Continue to come. We'll see you on Saturday. Any other questions before we close?
How long this course will be?
We're expecting 2.5 months, right, Nishant? Nishant, we're looking at 2.5 months.
Yes, yes,
Are
Sudish.
we are
Within
we
two and
gonna
a half
close?
months. Within 2.5 months, we'll
Are
close.
we looking to finish it by Feb first or second week, somewhere around that time?
Right.
Right? Okay, yeah.
Feb
Then the
first or
market is
second
opening
week.
by Feb. Yeah. See, our latest guy, girl, one of our prior student, got even job in the month of November. Right. So that's a good sign. So don't think that the time is running out. Jobs are there, but you really need to focus on, understanding the skill. I want to tell you, it's not the BA. It's the ServiceNow knowledge is what is going to get you job. Okay, guys. So specialization is very important. We'll talk about it, coach about it. And Nishan, thank you for the wonderful session. Thank you for sharing your experience and your knowledge. It really means a lot for all of us. Thank you so much. All right. And with that, guys, have a great night. We will continue to send you the registration meeting link and see you guys back on Saturday, and we'll continue to learn. Okay?
Thanks, Sudish. Thank you,
Awesome.
Nishant.
Have a great night,
Thank you,
guys.
Satish.
Thank
Thank you,
Thank
you.
you,
everyone.
Nisha. Good night,
Bye.
Thank
everybody.
Bye.
you.
Good night, everyone. Bye.